So here's something I talked about before. There had been rumors about it. There was a little photoshopped art that people thought might be real, but it really wasn't. That there would be some romance between Mandip Gill's character of Yaz and Jodie Whittaker's doctor. Now, the only thing within the show was this brief moment where Yaz's mother asked if Jodie was her new girlfriend, which suddenly seemed to indicate that Yaz was, a lesbian or at least bisexual, something along those lines. Because at first I thought, well, they seem to be suggesting maybe she and Ryan had some kind of relationship, but no, that's not the case. And but that was it, and there was nothing else. So anyway, someone asks the actress herself, and of course she supports a gay romance between her character Yasmin Khan and Whittaker's 13th Doctor. Yes, of course, because she'd better, because if she doesn't, she's so canceled. Even though there's kind of a reason for why not. Well, there's several. I mean, a lot of people think that, romance with the Doctor was a mistake to begin with and shouldn't have been done, but it's already been done twice, of course, with Rose and then River Song. And then, of course, there were, even like Martha was, she had a thing for the Doctor, but he didn't reciprocate. So all of that's there. So what had happened here? Well, here she answers it and says, "Me and the Doctor, I love it. The fan art is just out there. It sure is. It's good, isn't it?" Well, yeah. You want a character and a storyline. Yeah, that's right, Mandip. You sure do. But your character never gets one. And certainly this idea of a romance hasn't. And then she says, even though that storyline wasn't there, you want people to be talking about it. In the overall context of being interested in Doctor Who, which there isn't any. It's just evaporated. And that's a larger story, and we all know why. But just to this point, here she's saying that is the storyline wasn't there. There's no groundwork for it. With Rose, you had that developing over several episodes. There's in River Song, of course, she's this mysterious woman. She's introduced. She flirts with the Doctor and all this stuff. And as time went on, you realize that there had been this relationship, which even though we never really got to see the relationship, but it developed over the mystery of River Song and all that sort of thing. And then it ends where, with Capaldi's Doctor. He was the Doctor she had this romantic time with, apparently lasting for 24 years. So that was that. But here with Yaz, she's just kind of the lesser companion of the group here. The only ones who got stories was the relationship between Graham and Ryan. And that was really the strongest part of the show. And it's not enough to save it. And that was it. As for poor Yaz, who doesn't get much character development at all, they finally gave her some sort of show, but it was pretty bland. And but nothing there to indicate that she has romantic feelings for the Doctor. The companions are reduced to being school children to the Doctor's teacher, and they sit around like little kids at daycare on the floor, and the teacher's going to tell them a story. And there's quite a few scenes like that. And it's really stupid and insulting to the characters. But nothing there for her to do this after 2 seasons of this. Now, the Doctor, of course, at the end of the last one has been taken away to the space prison, and the companions, or the fam, return home in another TARDIS and all that in there, and that's where you leave it, and all we've got is this teaser trailer for the New Year's Day special that'll be coming, and that they have to somehow get back to her, and they have a Dalek invasion, all this sort of stuff. But and so maybe that will end up in a way to initially, it's like with the other, like maybe Ryan and Graham are saying, well, we've got to let her go. We may never see her again, and there's not a whole lot we can do. But Yaz is the one who just won't give up. And then, of course, Captain Jack shows up and all that sort of stuff. And maybe that's why she's starting to realize just how deep her feelings are for the Doctor. And it starts there and carries on into the 13th season. So I suppose they could weave that in there. But as it stands, which is so typical of the laziness of this show as it is now, is that they don't provide depth and development for their characters, and this sort of thing. It should have had markers and elements there for Yaz to put her in that position to where it's just more credible and believable within the narrative of the story as it is now. And that and in the boy, I tell you, the way the Doctor's been handled by Jodie, she doesn't have enough feeling and care to be comforting to poor Graham, who's facing possible the return of his cancer, and he's scared and is looking for some sort of comfort from the hero of the show. And she can't deliver. So poor Yaz says, I have feelings for you. Boy, it's just like, wow, I'm weirded out by that. Wow, yeah. But suddenly she will maybe take it more seriously. Perhaps her experience in prison, which looks to be a long time based on those marks on the wall and the pictures and stuff, that she's changed Dr. Jodie, and will appreciate and care more about poor Yaz, and perhaps even feel the same way. And there you'll have a romance between the two. I never cared about it. I don't mind it, and in some ways I can see a certain logic to it, because even with your stupid timeless child crap about the Doctor having originally been female in the first place, doesn't matter, because she doesn't remember any of that. As far as she knew, she was the first female version of the Doctor, which was a much better idea. But they threw that away immediately, but it still stands to reason because she doesn't remember it. So it would have been better to handle the female Doctor as a male character who became female, with all those memories of, centuries or even thousands, or I guess even a million, because you count Capaldi being cloned over and over again in his little disc. But anyway, yeah, a really old guy, and then suddenly turns into a woman. And even with the policy of no hanky-panky in the TARDIS in the past, the patterns of the Doctor was he really preferred women to travel around with. And they were all very lovely, too. The only male companion that mattered was Jamie, and then that was done. And then the other male companions, really, they didn't really matter as much as the women did. So, and then, of course, with New Who, you've had, at least certainly 2 romantic relationships here. And so it would stand to reason that, yes, the Doctor turns into a woman, having any interest for romance would involve a woman. So that's the logic of it as presented. It doesn't really matter. Of course, they change everything. There's rumors there's another secret Doctor coming who will be introduced as non-binary. That's because, you see, being gay is just not cool anymore. Trans was where it's at, but that's becoming yesterday's news too. So non-binary, that's where the hip and happening thing now. And so you're going to have yet another secret Doctor that we never knew about. And not even the Doctor. And maybe even Dr. Ruth won't know about her either. And that's the rumor that she'll show up. I don't know if that's in the special or if it's in the forthcoming season, which I don't really plan to watch. So there's that. And but the problem with it overall is that they're not going to deliver a good story on this. And they've already wasted 2 seasons and not laying groundwork for this to develop, which would give it more strength. But they just didn't do it, and because they're lazy and they don't really care. And a lot of this stuff that even Dr. Ruth, I believe, was probably just slapped in there and not really understanding what the consequences would be and where to follow it through and where does she fit in, and you got to do all of that. It's really quite the mess, and that's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. So whatever, good luck, Doctor Who, because you're gonna need it. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.